Hi, I'm Chris, G4NAB. Today I shall introduce you to SVXlink version 25. For those who already have SVXlink installed and you've installed it from the SVX builder or the image I provided and it's running on version 24, then the upgrade is not really necessary. SVXlink version 25 contains a method of registering with protocol 3 of the SvxReflector. As the UK Reflector is running protocol 2, you can be forgiven that the new version may be incompatible. However, I'm going to show you with some adjustments it's quite possible. Now, before starting your SD card, which is the next process, you might want to first of all install the sound card, a USB sound card, USB dongle, or other interface that you're going to use to control your radios in your repeater or hotspot. This is to enable the software to take into consideration any changes that might occur to the software to enable it to conform correctly to the next process. Firstly, format your SD card of 16 gigabits with Raspberry OS Bookworm Lite. That's Debian12. You will not need the desktop version, as you'll see as we proceed. With the card inserted, power up your Raspberry Pi. After a few minutes you will be able to SSH into the terminal. I'm using the command terminal on a Windows 11 PC, but you can equally use the Mac OS terminal or software such as PuTTY to execute the terminal interface. Here we have a Windows command terminal and I shall be entering the SSH command to access it. If you're unsure of the IP address and you have used the default Raspberry Pi settings, then you can SSH pi at pi.local, such as I'm doing now. SSH pi at pi.local. Let me just check something before I proceed, make sure that I have made the access possible. Yes, I have. That's fine. There we go. Oh, typing error. SSH pi at pi.local. Are we sure we want to continue? Yes, we do. The password is Raspberry. There we are in the terminal. The first thing we need to do is to update the operating system, the OS. And we do this with sudo apt update 2 ampersands sudo apt upgrade -y. The ampersands permit me to concatenate two commands together so that they follow the process. That's going to take a little while, so I shall be back to you when it's complete. I should have mentioned earlier that this is the 32-bit. If you use the 64-bit, it gets complicated. Stick with what you know, use 32-bit. It is possible at some stage you'll come across a question posed by the Raspberry Pi terminal where you've got a package distributor has shipped an updated version. What do you like to do about it? In order to use the package maintainer's version answer the question with a Y. And off we go. That's now complete, and we just sat at the terminal at the moment waiting for the next command. We now need to install a software package called Git, which is not installed natively. We do this as follows. Sudo, let's try it with the keyboard. Sudo apt install -y git. That is now complete. Now we can begin to install the SVXlink builder. Those who have used it know it's installed on my GitHub. However, the current SVXlink builder installs version 24 but does use apt install from the image of the package, which is held on a repository with the Open Online Amateur Radio Club. However, I've had to modify SVXlink builder to pull the package from somewhere else. So here we go. Sudo git clone https://github.com/f5vmr, my old French call sign, SVXlink builder. That pulls in the current version of the SVXlink builder. Now we need to modify that slightly as follows. Change directory, command is cd SVXlink builder. So I'm now inside that folder. Now I need to pull in the new version of that software. Sudo git checkout SVX builder _v3. That has now pulled that new software into position. Now we go back to our root folder with cd and we issue a bash command to start this first script running. /SVXlink builder / pre-install. Why pre-install? Because we've got to make some modifications to the sound software that's in the Raspberry Pi, and in order to use it successfully we need a reboot. So at the end of this pre-install package script, the Raspberry Pi will reboot. So here we go. It's just confirming that we have used Bookworm and the current user is Pi. If you have got anything different to that, you'll have to reformat the card and start again, because this script can only be run once, and we do need the standard install for Raspberry Pi OS. That is user Pi, and your passwords can be anything, but stick with Raspberry, you can change the password later. And we're now introducing some new software, some additional packages, moving the software about, moving the sound card, installing some software that SVXlink is requiring to run, We're installing Apache 2 for the web server for the dashboard that will be installed. We're also installing PHP language, which gives us the structure for running commands from the web server for editing SVXlink later, should we need to, and also to keep it relatively tidy. This will take just a few more minutes, but we'll sit it out. It's the installation of the PHP. Incidentally, PHP 8.2 for Debian 12. Debian 11 it was PHP 7.4. I'm just watching my screen to make sure that we aren't discovering new errors. It's taken me a while to try to perfect this script so it does everything it should do. Incidentally, for those who have some Python knowledge, there is also Python installed on Raspberry Pi software. I suppose this is rather like watching paint dry, but it's going to suddenly jerk into place and it will be finished over in a very few moments. As you see, we're now moving on. That's the SVXlink image package installed. It says it encountered an error, but we'll check that out in just a moment. while we're waiting for that to reboot, let's just show you some of the other packages that I'm using. The one on the bottom is installed in a little mini repeater that I have. The one on the right is what I'm currently running, and the one at the top is a development from a US source, all of which contain CM108 or 119 sound cards that can control the BTT and react to the squelch, so you don't need the GPIO bus in the Raspberry Pi. Right, we'll go back to our terminal and we'll log back into the Raspberry Pi. Right, because of that error, which I think is possibly due to some installed software that was already present, I'm just going to check one or two things, but I shall just momentarily put you on hold. That was relatively a minor problem which will be cured by the time you come to use the software. So the next stage, having logged back into the terminal, is to actually set our installation running. So here we go. We're logged back into the terminal and we go .SVXlink builder. We did pre-install last time, now we're going to do install.sh, and it takes us to the menu. Because I'm English and I'm in the United Kingdom, I will select United Kingdom, but you have the option of French, Spanish and US English. Welcome to the world of SVXlink. We're going to configure SVXlink to our own specifications. As I explained to you, I'm using a dongle which doesn't rely on the GPIO bus within a Raspberry Pi. What you must have are your registration details for Echolink. You should, if you want to connect to the SvxReflector, obtain a password from me, which will be 13 randomized characters, and also remember to set up your location data. You'll want digital longitude and latitude, as well as degrees, minutes and seconds. And I think that's about it for the moment. So off we go. We're going to OK. Now then, some devices do have SA818 transceiver modules fitted. I think one of those may be the Shari node. My little mini micro repeater has two SA818 devices. But on this occasion I'm just using the dongle, so I'm going to say no. And the dongle is modified, fully modified for transmit and receive through UDEF. If you're using a standard CM108 USB sound card, then you'll probably be using the GPIO bus on the Raspberry Pi, and you'll need to select unmodified. What am I going to do? I'm going to install a Simplex node with reflector. come back for the next instalment when I do a repeater. Right, the node call sign. I have a selection of call signs already, but I'm going to use G4NAB-M for mic. That's because I'm using -L, -R, -T and -P at the moment on various other projects. So we're going to go in -M, OK. Now installing the English British voices. The dashboard username, you can change it if you wish, but make a note of it. SVXlink, and the password, I'm going to use password as the password. Thank you, phone. The dashboard is installed. It will now tell you your IP address if you didn't know it already. Mine 192.168.1.195. Now you'll have got your SvxReflector key from me, which will be 13 characters long. Mine is a special one because that's me, right. I've selected a no type Simplex for the UK Reflector. How's my clock time? Well, I like to be a 24-hour clock person, so I'm doing that. This next step is important. You want minus figures to go in here. -10, -12, -14. Basically it makes the CW even quieter than your voice that's going to pass through the node. I'm going to say -10. Pitch on CW, on HF it's 650 Hz, so give or take a few. 650 goes in there. What sort of speed do I want it? Well, I'm going to opt for 120 characters per second. I think that equates to roughly 18 words a minute. Don't quote me. Now we have a period of identification. Your local regulations will tell you when you should identify, but 15 minutes seems a good option. And there's an option for giving a different identification on the hour. So we're going to go 60 minutes. We could do it 2 hours if you want, but let's go for 60 minutes. Now what do we want at these intervals? Do we want CW or do we want voice? Well, I'm going to go a short CW and a long voice. Now do I want a Roger beep? You can default beep, which is just a pip, or Morse code K, Morse code T, or no sound at all. I'm going to go for the Morse code K because I do. Meta information, and this is the information that's generated for aviators to determine the weather at their destination airport. Do you want to configure it? Yes, it's a bit of fun. Which airports? Well, we're going to change them anyway. Probably later we'll have London Heathrow, and we'll have Glasgow, Edinburgh, and we'll have Newcastle. We want one for a default airport. Newcastle is my local, so we'll have Newcastle. Do I want to install it? Well, let's install Echo Link. So we'll go yes. My current VHF node is a -R because it's on the super repeater. I'm going to use -L in this case. There we go, OK. And then your Echo Link password, the one that you registered with originally. And your sysop name. And your output frequency and your location. Installation is complete. Let's go to the dashboard. Wow, it's getting exciting. Right, we'll go to the dashboard. One moment, let's get that in place. Ooh. Thought we were having a bit of a moment then, but here we are at the dashboard. As you can see, G4NAB-M is in order. It's now working correctly. To be sure that we need to bring this into focus just a bit more. Right. We are looking at the dashboard. There are some things on the dashboard that don't work correctly at the moment, but I didn't design all of the software within it. Particularly this bit at the bottom here. It's it doesn't work as I anticipated. Feel free if you can mess about with it and get it going. But it's all to do with permissions. And permissions with PHP is the devil's own job to get it working properly. Now let's have a look at what else we've got in here. We've got some talk groups. These are by no means definitive, they're just an idea of what you can actually connect to. There are more, I'll show you those in a moment. We can also check on the status of our configuration. As you can see on the bottom left hand side here, we've got not authorized in red. To authorize ourselves, we go up to click on authorize, type in your user name, which is, try that again, SVXlink, and the password of course is password, and submit. And the non-editing turns to authorized. So let's have a look at what we can do with it. The SVXlink configurator. If we wanted to change a few things, we can. As we see here, we've got module parrot, module Echolink, module meta information, the two options that we selected. And we've got a few things that we haven't changed. All those highlighted with a blue tick are in action, except when you come down to repeater logic. This is something I have to sort out. You should not be able to see that if you're a Simplex, and likewise you shouldn't see Simplex if you're a repeater. But hopefully by the time that you see this, that problem will be eradicated. We have the reflector logic, which contains the details of the reflector. Some of the stuff here is unchecked. This is the version 3 protocol which we haven't implemented. But because we have done the important thing, put reflector v2 in this box, we can use it with our current SvxReflector. This is our link to the reflector. That hasn't got changed, we shall do that now. There are some things that I have to iron out. And we reload it. That's better. There we have the receiver. We're using high draw and the onboard high draw software controls the volume down button. If you have to reverse the functionality of volume down button, we change that with a bling exclamation mark, which reverses it from active high to active low. Save. And the same goes for the transmitter. This is pin GPIO 3 on the CM108. That normally is active low. So we'll change it.
I couldn't find anything about that.
Oh, go away, Siri. Didn't ask you. So active low is that. And now we should be ready to roll by connecting a radio to the USB dongle. Verify that SVXlink information is correct. Gloss over that quickly. We'll see my password. And we've also got METAR information. And we've got our node info configurator, which is already set up. You can change the latitude, longitude, and your QTH locator there. And the frequency on which you're operating. So that's basically it for the moment. Let's go back to the dashboard. Just want to quickly show you some methods of stopping SVXlink and restarting it again. In the terminal, we can use the commands sudo systemctl stop SVXlink. This effectively stops the SVXlink service. How do we know it's stopped? Well, let's look at the dashboard and we see that it's no longer working. The PHP is working in the web server, but it's showing that there is no activity. The SVXlink is not running. So go back to the terminal again and we reverse that to start SVXlink. And we look at the dashboard and we're running again. So that has been a bit about the new version of SVXlink 25. I haven't said how difficult it is. It's been a challenge for me to get it to this stage. By the time that you get to run it, you'll find that all the bugs have been cleared out. The dashboard isn't fully operational. The editing parts work, but the rest of it came from another source. I can't get the DTMF to work as I want it to, but no doubt some clever people out there can do it. Until next time, bye for now.